The camp of President-elect Bongbong Marcos has finally selected the venue for his inauguration. The office of the Vice President is now ready for the transfer of power come June 30. Pharmaly executives have been released from Pasay City Jail. The Health Department warns Metro Manila may record 7,000 daily COVID-19 cases by next month. And women's volleyball action continues in UAAP Season 84. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. With President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr. scheduled to take his oath at the National Museum by the end of the month, just how ready is the historic building for this event? Marlene Alcaide with the latest.
From repainting to the construction of a mock-up stage, work is already underway at the National Museum in Manila, the venue of the June 30 inauguration of incoming President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. In the Public Works Department's mock setup, the stage is expected to reach P. Burgos with bleachers for VIPs on both sides of the stage. But these plans have yet to be finalized.
We are already on the stress out point to finish the work ahead.
Officials target to finish the setup by June 20 before putting embellishments. The Manila Police District is also working on security measures to make sure the event goes smoothly. Recall that the Carino Grandstand and Fort Santiago were also being considered as options for the inauguration. But Marcos camp opted to forgo using the grandstand so as not to affect its COVID facility. Presidential Management Staff Secretary Designate Zenaida Angping also said that the National Museum fits the requirements. The place is also of historical significance. The Philippine Commonwealth was proclaimed here back in 1935 when it was still called the National Assembly Building. It was destroyed during World War II but was reconstructed in the 50s.
It used to be the Congress. That used to be the legislative building. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to use the National Museum. I think he was basically following tradition.
His father, the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr., also worked in the building as Senate President from 1963 to 1965, back when it was still the legislative building. For News 5, Marlene Alcaide, we are One News.
After 6 years of public service, the office of Vice President Leni Robredo is now ready for their transfer of power. But for Robredo's camp, their work has just begun, as they're now preparing to launch what they claim will be the biggest volunteer network group in the country. Ryan Ang with the details.
With less than a month before the end of Vice President Leni Robredo's term, her team has started packing up and preparing for the transition into the next administration. OBP spokesman Barry Gutierrez said there will be a meeting between the transition team of Robredo and incoming VP Sara Duterte this week.
Magkakaroon siguro ng presentation, hindi ko alam kung ipapaalam na nila at this point kung ano yung desisyon nila, kung tutuloy o hindi. Pero nasa sa kanila yon.
Robredo's daughter, Dr. Tricia, said they are at peace knowing that they did everything they could in the recently concluded elections.
Hindi pa rin naman kami nawawalan ng loob kasi there are other ways to help and we look forward to tapping the human resources that we have now.
Meanwhile, the OVP's Bayanihan e-Consulta served for the last time on Tuesday. The program has helped more than 58,000 patients during the pandemic. Aubrey, one of the beneficiaries, thanked the OVP for providing oxygen for her mom when she tested positive for COVID-19.
Malungkot kasi madami siyang natulungan na ganun ka-efficient yung serbisyong nabigay nila. Sana yun yung naging maging model ng say ng LGU natin or ng iba pang national agencies natin.
Nakaka-proud and at the same time, sobrang grateful ko rin to have been a part of this initiative.
Gutierrez meanwhile said the program might also be included in the non-government organization they will be launching on July 1.
Kung interesado kayong tumulong, kung interesado pa rin kayong maging bahagi ng initiatives ni VP Leni, sisikapin nating gawan ng espasyo dito sa Angat Buhay NGO. Madami dun sa mga approaches at mga initiatives na nasimulan sa ilalim ng Angat Buhay program sa OVP, sisikapin nating ipagpatuloy.
Once her term ends, Robredo will also be stepping down as the chairman of the Liberal Party. For News 5, Ryan Ang, we are One News.
Farmally executives Mohit Dargani and Lincoln Ong are now free men, as 11 senators refused to sign the committee report recommending the filing of cases against those involved in the so-called Farmally scam. But Senator Risa Ontiveros maintains that she will refile the investigation in the 19th Congress. Mon Gualvez with the details.
After months of detention, Farmally executives Mohit Dargani and Lincoln Ong are now released.
Sir, anong plano nyo lang po ngayon na nakalaya na kayo?
Sir, any plans?
Any word, sir? Any word?
The two were jailed after refusing to release Farmally financial documents at the height of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee's probe on the alleged 10 billion pesos worth of medical supplies purchased by the government.
I don't think that they have regretted one bit na nakulong sila. Yung paninindigan nila is intact, their dignity is intact, and for us that is what's important.
In the Blue Ribbon's draft report, it was recommended to file plunder and graft charges against the DBM Procurement Service, Health Secretary Francisco Duque III, and President Rodrigo Duterte. Only 9 senators signed the committee report on the case, short of 2 votes to elevate the case to plenary. 11 did not, including Senator Miguel Zubiri, poised to be the incoming Senate President. He said he could have signed it if the President's name were not in the list.
I only agree that all the Farmally executives should be, and of course, yung sa PSDBM. But anyone else, others are all circumstantial hearsay evidence.
This is why Senator Dick Gordon, who led the investigation, said the case is far from closed.
At nakita na talagang gumawa ng katiwalian na napakalaki. At kilalang-kilala ng kampanya, sila sabi sa akin lahat ng tao yan. Pero ngayon, hindi natin pipirmahan bilang senador. Walang closure. Ito na naman tayo. Kasi sinasabi, imbestiga, pero wala nangyayari.
Senator Risa Ontiveros says they did not coerce any witness and that she plans to refile the investigation in the incoming 19th Congress. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The Health Department warns Metro Manila may log 7,000 average daily COVID-19 cases by July. That is if booster vaccinations remain low. In an interview with Big Story, health spokesperson Maria Rosario Vergere explained that due to waning immunity, NCR may record more cases next month. That's on top of possibly hitting over 4,000 hospitalizations due to COVID-19.
And based from our projections, we will have a peak of cases towards the end of July and maybe early August if this continues on, that a small population or coverage for the population for boosters, meaning waning immunity plus the subvariants will have this characteristic of evading immunity. We will see around 7,000 plus cases, average daily cases per day, just in NCR. And we will also see a rise in hospitalizations, around 4,000 plus hospital occupancy. When you compare that to the Delta situation, we only had about 4,300 occupancy in our hospitals then. So it would be higher than the Delta experience.
Here's an update on UAAP Season 84 Women's Volleyball. The UP Fighting Maroons finally fought off their losing streak after winning against the FEU Lady Tamaraos. UP remains in the running for the Final Four with a 5-6 record, while the Tams now have double-digit losses at 1-10. Meanwhile, the De La Salle Lady Spikers took the solo second place after dominating the UST Growling Tigresses with a 17-point lead in the fourth set. The Lady Spikers now stand at 8-3, while UST is at 7-4. The NU Lady Bulldogs remain undefeated after crushing the Adamson Lady Falcons in 3 sets out of 4. NU is now just 3 wins away from an outright Final Four spot with an 11-0 record, while Adamson is tied with Ateneo with a 6-5 slate. And the defending champions Ateneo Blue Eagles buried the still winless UE Lady Warriors in a 3-set sweep, as Ateneo now stands at 6-5, while the Adamson Lady Falcons, while UE is at 0-11. And that's how the